Our series begins with a narrator recounting the history of the 12 angels. After light, the Creator created the world and sent 12 angels to protect human beings. Each angel had specific animal powers, which helped them protect humans. As the world created by light flourished, the world of darkness diminished. As such, darkness sent evil spirits to bring chaos to the world. The 12 angels came together and sacrificed to save the human world. After the intense battle, the 12 angels triumphed and sealed the evil spirits within the hellmouth. After the battle, the remaining angels lost their powers and continued living on Earth as humans. Presently, we are introduced to Tae-san, the leader of the 12 and the CEO of Angel Capital Group. The company lends money to gangsters and ex-convicts only. Currently, Tae-san is looking to collect from Jo Young-soo, who is in prison. Young-soo refuses to give up his cars and buildings, mockingly promising to settle the debt after his release. Tae-san warns Young-soo that he is not one to be messed with and walks away. He later calls G-Wi Dole and orders him to pay Young-soo's bail. Back at the office, Mal-suk, Won-sung and Kang-ji follow up on a different case after getting a heads-up from G-Wi Dole. Elsewhere, Detective Marak calls Tae-san and asks for a loan. He uses the loan to shop for clothes for Mir. As it turns out, Mir and Tae-san used to have a thing. However, she left him 10 years ago and started working at the local museum, where she teaches kids the history of the 12. She is not pleased to see Marak and refuses to accept the clothes as she knows he used Tae-san's money. Marak worries that Mir is being distant because of a prophetic dream she had. Unfortunately, Mir won't talk to anyone about the dream and is carrying the load on her own. Meanwhile, Bangwoo and Do-I work at an Oriental clinic. Do-I worries that Bangwoo is scaring away clients with her frightening bedside demeanor. Although he works hard to promote the clinic, clients become scared when they see Bangwoo in action. Later that night, Young-soo meets with his boys and girlfriend to celebrate his release. He tenses after getting a call from Tae-san informing him that he is on his way. He orders his boys to kill Tae-san on sight. Unfortunately for his boys, Tae-san proves to be too much for them to handle. Within seconds, he beats all of Young-soo's men. Seeing this, Young-soo meekly apologizes and pays up his debts. On the other side of town, Mal-suk, Won-sung and Kang-ji get to work collecting from a gambling den. The boss tries to escape, but Do-I steps up to help the trio. Within a few minutes, they beat the gang to a pulp and collect their money. After collecting the money from Young-soo, Tae-san visits an old friend, Ji-soon. According to him, she is the only human he can talk to. He has known her since she was a child, when he saved her family from heartless debt collectors. Now, Jum-soon, like her mom, runs a teabaki stand. Although she is old, Tae-san still considers her a child. As they talk, Ji-soon acknowledges Tae-san and the angels' tough work and sacrifice. She understands how the loss of his family and the lack of gratitude from human beings have been hard on Tae-san. She tries to encourage him and assures him that most humans are good and grateful for the sacrifices they make. Tae-san tries to give her some money, but she rejects it. An old man interrupts the two and heavily scolds Tae-san for using an informal tone with Ji-soon. Tae-san recognizes the man as Man-buk. Man-buk is surprised to see that Tae-san has not aged a day and warmly embraces him. At the police station, Marak heartily enjoys his dinner while watching the news. According to the news report, a significant number of Paleolithic-era relics were discovered at a construction site. The relics are to be transferred to the NRIC for academic research. However, during the research, the scientists find it odd that nothing is registering on the spectrum. For some reason, the relics are showing abnormal spikes. The scene then cuts to a group of people performing a little ritual in the middle of nowhere. A man slices his hand and presses it against a rock. The blood quickly disappears, and they inform their leader that they have successfully located O-Gwi. Once again, we reunite with Tae-san, who returns to the company and finds everyone gone. He goes to his office, opens the safe, and starts unpacking the money. For a brief moment, he seems happy, but suddenly his demeanor changes and he becomes sad. Back to the evil spirits, the leader performs another ritual but fails. The others warn him to be careful not to push himself too hard, as he might die. The leader insists they have no time to waste and tries again. This time, he pins his hand to the rock with a knife. His blood wakes the demon locked in the rock. A green light appears, the rocks shake, and suddenly, a man with red eyes appears. We see the man spreading his wings wide, showcasing their full glory. We later see Tae-san having a drink alone and reflecting on Jeom-soon's words. In a flashback, we jump to the Joseon era. Tae-san and Mer are happily shopping when they notice a human family in trouble. Some goons are trying to collect money from the market vendors. Tae-san asks Mer to stay back and let him handle the issue. Unfortunately, she uses her powers to fight the goons, and the village people notice how Mer uses her hands to summon a wind that knocks out the men. That night, the vendors pretend to drop by and thank Tae-san and his family for their help. Instead, they drug Tae-san's family and try to kill Mer. They believe she's a fiend out to control them with her powers. Thankfully, Tae-san awakens and saves Mer. However, after that incident, Tae-san lost hope in humans. He even asked his family to keep their distance from humans. Back in the present, we reunite with the demons shortly after awakening O-Gwi. The High Priest of Darkness welcomes him and says they have been searching for the demon for 1,000 years. O-Gwi is hesitant to believe this and grabs the priest by the collar. He demands the truth, but the priest explains that he lost his powers. Without his powers, he has had to risk his life to find and awaken O-Gwi. He needs the demon to deal with Tae-san and Marok. Elsewhere, near the Han River, Mal-suk, Do-in-I, and Kanji get ready for a morning run. Do-in-I decides to have a snack while Mal-suk and Kanji start their run. While eating ramen, Do-in-I gets into a verbal fight with a dog. We learn here that he can read minds, even those of animals. Mal-suk and Kanji intervene before the dog owner reports Do-in-I, but later, they remind Do-in-I that they are supposed to stay away from humans. In the meantime, O-Gwi takes a walk down the street as he familiarizes himself with the new world. He nearly comes face to face with Mer, but while she sorts of senses him, she carries on with her day. O-Gwi sees her from the back and continues on too. Later that night, the angels, except Tae-san, Mer, and Marok, meet for dinner. They also celebrate Bangwol since it is technically her birthday. One sung mocks Bangwol's old ID, and the others mock his past pictures. After work, Mer drops into a bar for a drink and has a vision. Within this, she sees herself walking into a cave and spotting a man dressed in black. The man turns as she approaches, revealing a demon with a distorted face. As she sips her drink, two men approach. She tries to send them away, but they persist in pestering her. Tired, she knocks them out, pays her bill and leaves. In the meantime, O-Gwi meets with the High Priest Samin on a rooftop. Once again, Samin reiterates how he lost his powers while the angels and the humans flourished. Samin wants to use O-Gwi's powers to create chaos in the human world. He knows the angels lost their powers, and he has a plan to fulfill his mission. He asks O-Gwi to help him locate the 3 soul stones Haiti hid on the day of the battle. Given that O-Gwi can sense Haiti's energy, it will be easy for him to locate the hidden stones. Once he finds the stones, he can feed their energy to the Dragon Soul and revive Haiti's powers. The Dragon Soul is a power channel that oversees the powers of both angels and demons. Samin promises to give O-Gwi Haiti's powers if he helps him gain immortality. Of course, O-Gwi knows he can't trust Samin, and he clarifies that should Samin betray him, he will behead the guy. No pressure then. The next day, the young angels meet for some chicken and enjoy themselves. Some of them worry about Tae-san overworking himself though. Mal-suk is pissed that Tae-san left her behind when he went to collect money from the car masters. The guy is certainly successful in collecting the debt, and he gets to his car, but notices he is out of his depression medicine. He quickly makes an appointment with his doctor to get some more. At the doctor's, Tae-san insists he is not getting better and bribes his doctor to give him a 2-month supply of his medication. He falls asleep though as he awaits his prescription. Back to Samin, he warns the other demons to leave O-Gwi alone, until he helps them locate the 3 soul stones. After that, they perform a ritual, and some of the demons walk into a wall of fire. Samin stays behind and completes the ritual, but as soon as the demons walk through the fire, the angels' necklaces light up. The angels quickly call each other, and Won-sung, Mal-suk, Ganji, Do-in, and Gwi Dole meet up. Marak calls and says he is on his way, but unfortunately, Mer misses the alarm since she is busy at work. Won-sung tries to call Tae-san, but Tae-san is passed out at his therapist's office and misses the call. After a brief discussion, they decide to check out the location and verify if the alert is genuine. However, they are worried that, should it be real, the demons will overpower them. After all, the angels have no powers now. The location turns out to be Mer's office building. The demons attack her on her way home, and while she does try to fight back, she is quickly overpowered. Even after the others arrive, they get their asses handed to them. Meanwhile, Samin watches the fight unfold from his ritual bowl. Simultaneously, Tae-san gets to the office and notices it is empty. He walks to his office and sees the glowing light of his necklace. Bangwol shows Tae-san her glowing necklace, but Marak arrives at the fight scene and witnesses the young angel struggling to keep up with the demon's punches. Later we see O-Gwi standing on the rooftop, his eyes turning a menacing red. We pick up with Malrock arriving to help the angels. Meanwhile, Tae-san and Bangwol are back at HQ, wondering what is going on with their necklaces. Back at the parking lot in Mer's office, things get chaotic as the demons overpower the angels. Malrock uses his sword stick to freeze the demons, giving the angels enough time to escape. As the angels pull their battered bodies up, O-Gwi and Samin watch everything unfold from different vantage points. One of the demons unfreezes and starts choking Malrock, promptly followed by the other demons following suit too. Do-in grabs a bike helmet and saves Malrock. Once again, Malrock tries to freeze the demons, but they begin to dissipate. Before the last one can dissolve into thin air, Malrock uses his powers to sense who is behind the attack. He is shocked to see it is Samin. Still, he hides the shock quickly and asks the angels to leave. Won-sung hesitates as he senses a familiar spirit, but Malrock sends him home. Back at Tae-san building, Tae-san tries to call the others. They finally arrive with various injuries and Bangwol treats them while Malrock takes Tae-san aside to talk. While at the clinic, the others mess around with some of the equipment. Gwi Dole nearly dies though when he unknowingly eats the wrong herbs. Later, Tae-san returns with Malrock, and Ganji asks if they have located the evil spirits. She is disappointed when Tae-san asks her to stay out of it. Gwi Dole asks about the sealed Hellmouth and their powers, while Malrock promises to figure it out. Ganji tries to pitch in about how they should solve the mystery quickly, but Tae-san interrupts her again, prompting her to go off on him. She reminds him that it is their duty to help human beings, but Tae-san disagrees. He adds that they've received nothing but pain trying to save the human race. Ganji insists that they all feel the same loss, but they can't forego their duty. Tae-san refuses to lose anyone again. Later, Malrock invites Won-sung for drinks and convinces him to step up and look for the demons. He claims that Tae-san is too shy to ask for a favor, but given Won-sung is next in line for leadership, it is his duty. Won-sung believes Malrock and agrees to help. Elsewhere, Tae-san opens a secret vault in his safe and takes a trip down memory lane. He recalls the loss of 4 angels after their battle, but Malrock interrupts and reports that Samin is alive and behind the recent demon attack. He asks Tae-san to reconsider his stance and save the humans. Unfortunately, Tae-san insists they no longer have powers and have been abandoned by God. He has no desire to sacrifice his family to save the humans. On his way out, Malrock is relieved to see Mer returning home to the other angels. Ganji is frustrated with Tae-san's attitude though. Out of all the angels, she cares deeply about human beings and fulfilling her duties. Tae-san visits Jeom-soon and Manbuk, offering them money to buy her tteokbokki stand. He also gives them tickets and asks them to leave the country for a while. Elsewhere, Won-sung attempts to track the demons and deceives Gwi Dole to obtain the tracking device. After trying for a while, he calls Malrock, who encourages him to keep trying. Malrock insists that only Won-sung can do this. At work, Malrock is called to look into one of the missing relics from the museum. Later, Mer, Ganji GW Idol, and Malsuk drop by the orphanage to hang out with the children. Whilst there, Mer has a vision of the angels dying during another battle. Back at the Taesan building, Jeom-soon and Manbok visit Taesan and decline his offer. Jeom-soon trusts that Taesan can save them again, like he did in the past. As she recalls how Taesan saved her mom, she becomes increasingly convinced that he is the hero they need. We see O-Gwi remembering Samin's words about the soul stones. He is currently holding the stolen relic, which we assume is one of the soul stones. As he holds this relic, a red light glows from his chest. We see a flashback of a young Haiti following Taesan and Malrock around. According to Malrock, Haiti was created with the powers of each of the 12 angels. In no time, Haiti managed to win over Taesan. Together, they all worked hard to protect human beings from demons. Presently, Bangwol continues to practice her archery skills, and Won-sung lies about what he has been up to lately. The angels later meet for dinner and warmly welcome Mer back into the fold. They get their monthly bonus but give half of it to Ganji to donate to the human. They also tease Won-sung for thinking he is as reliable as Taesan. Meanwhile, Malrock finds a passed-out, drunk Taesan in his office. Once again, Taesan has a nightmare about the dead angels and is startled from his sleep. Malrock tells him about the return of Samin, the awakening of O-Gwi and the missing soul stone. Malrock reminds Taesan that they need to keep O-Gwi from meeting Mer. He also mentions that Won-sung has been trying to locate Samin. Taesan agrees and asks Malrock to tell the others about O-Gwi and Samin, but to keep the location of the evil spirits between them. Elsewhere, O-Gwi visits Samin and informs him that he's got the first soul stone. Through another flashback, we go back to the day of the great battle. Samin watched Taesan kill Haiti and walked away wounded. Before passing out, Samin saw how Haiti hid the 3 soul stones. O-Gwi uses his power to track down the second stone and sends the evil spirits to collect it. In the meantime, Won-sung begins to sense Samin's location. Back at the Taesan building, Mer works out with Malsuk and goes all hard. Unlike the other angels, Mer still has her powers but can't explain why. After working out, they grab some snacks, and Malsuk tries to find out more about Mer's vision and why she left. Mer denies having any visions and refuses to explain why she left. Feeling guilty, Malsuk drops the issue. However, Mer is still concerned that her vision of the angels dying will come true. After all, the angels have no power, and even Malrock, their guardian, is no longer as agile as before. His residual powers always strain his frail body. At the clinic, Bangwol gives Do-an-I a rare power supplement to use when the demons attack. Malrock passes by and mentions he is quitting the force. He promises to tell them more later in the evening. Later that evening, Taesan calls Mer aside and subtly asks if she has met anyone recently. He fails to mention that O-Gwi is back. However, he insists that Mer was the target for the evil spirits and that she needs to stay low inside the building. Mer has another vision of the faceless demon in the cave. Back at the dining table, Malrock tells the others about O-Gwi and Samin. As the night deepens, Won-sung follows the trail and locates the demons. Sadly, he loses them because of a dark barrier. Back home, Taesan recalls Mer begging him not to hurt O-Gwi. Still, Taesan wanted to punish O-Gwi for his part in the loss of their family members. In the flashback, O-Gwi blames Taesan for taking everything from him. Currently, Taesan worries about the safety of his beloved family and Jeom-soon. Won-sung and Malrock arrive to update him on the demon's location. Speaking of the demons, Samin meets with O-Gwi and orders him to take the last soul stones from Mer. He promises to handle Taesan since he knows the tiger's weakness. The following morning, the angels wake up and realize Malrock and Taesan are gone. They went to check the location where Won-sung last saw the demons. Won-sung pretends not to know and leaves the other angels in the dark. While surveying the location, Taesan vows to protect Malrock. Meanwhile, Samin sends his demons to attack Jeom-soon and Man-bok. This is an effort to distract the angels and get Mer alone. The other angels fall for the trap and rush to Jeom-soon once their necklaces light up. Malrock and Taesan are the first to arrive. They find Man-bok lying on the floor while Jeom-soon tries to make a run for it. She locks herself in a toilet at the train station. By the time Taesan arrives, Jeom-soon is heavily bleeding from an arm injury. Taesan manages to beat the demons while Malrock tries to escape with Jeom-soon. More demons corner them, but the other angels arrive in time to lend a hand. Mal-suk and Do-I offer to stay back and fight the demons while the others find a way out. Unfortunately, Mal-suk and Do-I are beaten to a pulp, and the other angels are cornered along with Jeom-soon. Back at the house, Samin leads another group of evil spirits to go after Mer and Bangwol. In a flashback, we go back to the day Taesan and the angels saved Jeom-soon's mom's place. They happily ate a lot of food from the stall, and Taesan acted like he helped for his sake. In reality, he was touched that Jeom-soon's mom showed gratitude. Jeom-soon also lavished him with high praise, raising his spirits. The angels were stunned to see Taesan speak to human beings again and even go out of his way to help them. When Taesan left, he paid more money than necessary. At the time, a young Jeom-soon was enamored by Taesan. To her, he was like a hero walking among mere mortals. We see a flashback to Bangwol making the tonic for Do-I at Mer's request. After that day, a few of the angels got ready to go on a camping trip. The rest were apparently on a Philippine trip to catch some criminals. Later, Mer joined Bangwol, Mal-suk and Ganji at the camp, and the girls had a good time. However, Mer was still haunted by her visions of the angels dying. Presently, we go back to the train station, where the demons are overwhelming the angels. Jeom-soon's condition is quickly deteriorating, and time is running out. Do-I takes the tonic and turns red as his body gets amped up with power. Mal-suk watches in fascination and concern as Do-I fights the demons. On the other side, the others continue to protect Malrock and Jeom-soon. Unfortunately, they are no match for the demons. It is not until Taesan shows up and takes out the demons that the angels are able to return home. Speaking of home, Samin and his minions quickly overpower Bangwol and take Mer hostage. By the time the other angels get there, it is too late. They find Bangwol passed out and Mer gone. Do-I reads Bangwol's mind and reports to the team what transpired. Taesan is ready to find Samin, but Malrock begs him to be patient. The team quickly decides to focus on saving Jeom-soon first. After checking on Jeom-soon, Bangwol explains that Jeom-soon is past saving. Given that a demon caused the wound, human medicine won't save her. Won-sung suggests they open the Hellmouth and retrieve their powers, but Malrock refuses. Malrock worries that opening the Hellmouth will cause more harm than good. In the meantime, Bangwol tries her best to keep Jeom-soon alive. Meanwhile, O-Gwi gets a sudden headache as he gets close to where Samin is keeping her. As he gets closer, he sees Mer lying down and silently watches her. Later, Mer has a dream about the past. She sees herself trying to save someone she loves. Samin arrives and puts her back to sleep. He takes her to the main part of the cave, where O-Gwi is waiting to start the ritual. A while later, Malrock storms off without telling anyone. Won-sung assumes Malrock is off to work, not knowing the latter has already quit the force. When Won-sung tells the other, they decide to wait for Malrock to explain everything. However, Won-sung tells Taesan that Malrock has left. Taesan thinks back to the conversation he had with Malrock. Malrock wanted time to figure out how to save Mer. Taesan realizes that Malrock is off on his own to find Samin. He and Won-sung storm off, leaving the others confused as to what is happening. Back in the cave, Samin and O-Gwi use the 3 soul stones and Mer's powers to awaken Haete's powers. The ritual is successful, but just as O-Gwi is about to reach for the stone, the memories of his relationship with Mer return. He passes out and Samin takes over. Without wasting time, Samin takes Haete's powers for himself and immediately returns to a youthful, unscared version of himself. Outside, Malrock uses his powers to surpass the dark barrier. Sadly, he interrupts the ritual when it is pretty much done. Out of curiosity, Malrock asks how Samin has been able to stay alive. The little demons try to attack Malrock, but he uses his powerful specter to fight them. During the fight, Malrock uses his scepter to clone himself and take on the numerous demons. Samin stands back and watches, trying to figure out who the real Malrock is. Once he does, he moves with lightning speed to attack. He shoves his sword into Malrock, forcing him to fall to the ground. It is at this point that Malrock realizes that Samin awakened Hate's soul and took the powers. Simultaneously, O-Gwi wakes up and stares at Myr as his memories flood in. As it turns out, Myr wanted to save O-Gwi during that fateful night of the battle. However, Tae-san wouldn't let him. He wanted to kill O-Gwi and avenge his lost family members. Malrock interrupted and took out the couple's memories of each other. After that, Malrock gave O-Gwi a worse curse and punishment than death. He sealed O-Gwi in hell for all eternity without any memories of Myr. We see O-Gwi looking at Myr with a sad expression on his face. We see a flashback of Myr and Ganji chasing after a demon, but then losing it. Myr chooses to stay and wait for O-Gwi, her boyfriend. Ganji tries to warn Myr that the elders are already against the relationship between O-Gwi and her. She is also concerned that O-Gwi will have to pay a heavy price if the elders find out that he and Myr are still dating. Ganji reminds Myr that O-Gwi is human, and it is their responsibility to protect humans. Presently, we pick up where we left off with Tae-san and Won-sung driving towards Malrock's location. Tae-san is anxious to get there as he remembers how he promised to protect the Guardian. Speaking of Malrock, he is still in the cave, losing blood as Samin mockingly towers over him. O-Gwi wakes up and realizes that Samin stole his soul stone. He decides to deal with Samin first, and another fight ensues. O-Gwi overpowers and kills Samin. With Samin down, O-Gwi turns his attention to Malrock. Obviously, O-Gwi wants to avenge his tormenting days in hell. He wants Malrock to feel the same pain and vows to kill him. Malrock explains that it was God's will to punish O-Gwi. O-Gwi finds this ironic since he believes God never cared for him once. As they talk, Samin resurrects since he now has Hate's powers and is immortal. He uses his powers to target O-Gwi and Myr. Thankfully, O-Gwi is quick to use his wings to cover Myr and fly away. Samin summons more demons, leaving Malrock behind to die. Back at headquarters, Bangwoo continues to look after Jeom-soon while Mal-suk trains hard. In the meantime, Tae-san and Won-sung are still driving. Malrock calls them and informs Tae-san of everything that has transpired. He orders Tae-san to open the hellmouth and save Myr. Malrock warns Tae-san that once Samin retrieves the soul stone in Myr, he will be unstoppable. Lastly, Malrock apologizes for being unable to clear the loan he borrowed for Tae-san. He also apologizes for leaving him a huge task to handle. After the call, Malrock dies. Finally, Tae-san and Won-sung arrive at the cave and recover Malrock's body. They take it back to headquarters and hold a quick but sad funeral for their fallen soldier. After the funeral, Tae-san recalls a conversation he once had with Malrock. It was right after the battle, and Malrock cautioned him not to let the pain of loss lead him astray. Malrock said that it was the angel's destiny to sacrifice for humans. Stirred by Malrock's word and the loss of a close friend, Tae-san grabs a huge sledgehammer and opens the hellmouth. Shocked, the other angels watch. After a while, Tae-san manages to break open the hellmouth, and the angels get their powers back. Tae-san then orders the angels to prepare for another battle. With the hellmouth open, the demons are free, but they need to get Myr and reseal it within a day. Shortly after, a red light bursts through the hellmouth, and the demons rush out. A dark cloud suddenly appears and covers the land. As expected, the media quickly reports the phenomenon and asks viewers to stay inside. Simultaneously, Samin and his demons cause a distraction on the streets, leading to traffic. Samin uses his powers and unleashes demons that quickly possess the human beings. Chaos erupts as the possessed humans turn against one another. Samin and his demons watch with a satisfactory smile. The scene then cuts to O-Gwi flying into another cave with Myr. He passes out with Myr in his arms. At the headquarters, Bangwol uses her restored powers to save Jiam-soon. With that settled, the angels get ready to find Mer and save the world again. Through another flashback, we return to the fateful day Haetae died. It turns out that an evil spirit had possessed Haetae, and Tae-san was hesitant about killing him. However, Haetae tried to kill the other angels and Malrock. In the end, Tae-san had to kill him to save the others. After killing Haetae, the angels sealed the Hellmouth and lost their powers in the process. We pick up from where we left off with O-Gwi and Mer getting to their secret cave. In another flashback, we go back to before O-Gwi got his powers. It turns out that he was a human tasked by Light to watch the passage between Hell and Earth. Light gave him the ability to spot demons trying to get through. This is how he became so close to the angels and ended up falling for Mer. Unfortunately, angels were forbidden from having romantic relationships with humans. O-Gwi thought he could pray to Light and get powers just like Malrock. However, Mer was against this because she knew the sacrifices angels have to deal with. She forbade O-Gwi from making such dangerous prayers. Still, O-Gwi continued praying until he fainted. At the time, darkness was watching O-Gwi and knew of his desires. On the day that O-Gwi fainted from feverishly praying, darkness possessed Samin's body. The possessed Samin found a weak O-Gwi lying down and promised to help him. He didn't give O-Gwi time to consider the offer. He turned O-Gwi immediately. Ganji was the first to discover O-Gwi's betrayal and confronted him. O-Gwi spared her life for the sake of Mer, even though Samin wanted to kill her. O-Gwi warned Samin to remember his place and refused to help darkness in his pursuit to retrieve Mer's soul stone. By the time Mer learned the truth, it was too late. Presently, O-Gwi recovers consciousness before Mer. Suddenly, Mer's soul stone returns to her body, and she regains consciousness. It is a sad reunion as Mer blames O-Gwi for betraying them. On the other hand, O-Gwi blames Light for abandoning him. Although O-Gwi is injured, Mer chooses to leave him and return to Tae-san. She believes that it would be better this way. Back in Seoul, the possessed humans continue to cause havoc. The angels take a detour on their way to Mer to save a few humans. Bangwol realizes that she can save the humans and asks her fellow angels not to kill them. Another pointless fight ensues, with the possessed humans getting up each time they are beaten. Meanwhile, Jiam-soon recovers and pities Tae-san for having to fight demons again to save ungrateful humans. Fast forward to the angels finally getting on track with the main mission. Ganji tries to track O-Gwi, but it is too late. Samin gets to Mer first and overpowers her. O-Gwi is forced to turn to the angels for help to save Mer. Unfortunately, he is weak after his last fight with Samin. He asks the angels to stall and give him enough time to heal. With Mer in his possession, Samin returns to the Hellmouth in the Tae-san building. He and his minions make their way to the basement. Surprisingly, Samin revives the 4 dead angels and possesses them. The other angels are conflicted when they get to the building and see their siblings. Tae-san orders them to fight the 4 possessed angels while he slowly fights his way to the basement. Of course, another useless fight scene ensues, with the angels scared of hurting their 4 resurrected siblings. In the meantime, Tae-san quickly retrieves Mer's soul stone. He immediately grows more powerful. On the other hand, O-Gwi stands on the rooftop, healing and preparing for the upcoming battle. Finally, Tae-san gets to the basement and takes out some of Samin's minions. However, Samin keeps sending more. He offers Tae-san a chance to switch sides, but the latter turns him down. We see more of Samin's minions making their way toward Tae-san. We pick up with another narration of the formation of the 12 angels, their battles with darkness and his demons, and the closing of the Hellmouth. Ultimately, we know the world was saved. The angels lost their powers while sealing the Hellmouth, and Samin reopened it again. Presently, we return to Seoul, where humans continue to get possessed by demons. O-Gwi watches over the Tae-san building while the angels fight with their possessed siblings. On the streets, Manbok saves a little boy. It is a rather arduous battle between Tae-san and Samin. In the first round, Samin and his minions overwhelm Tae-san. The tiger is heavily injured in the fight, causing O-Gwi to step in and help. Of course, with his new powers, O-Gwi is no match for Samin. Samin stabs him and breaks his wings. Sadly, Mer gets to witness all this, unable to move her body. Even in his last breath, O-Gwi thought of only saving Mer. As he once promised, his love for her never wavered. Upstairs, the other angels struggle with fighting their possessed siblings, who are more powerful. Tae-san manages to get a small break while O-Gwi and Samin are fighting. He rises and faces Samin again. This time, the anger and sadness in Tae-san become his driving force, and he beats and kills Samin. As Samin dissipates, Mer's soul stone returns to her body. She struggles to get up and rushes to O-Gwi. After Samin's death, the demons flee, and the possessed people, including the angels, return to their normal selves. Once again, the angels seal the hell mouth and lose their powers. Finally reunited with their siblings, they happily celebrate the reunion. Tae-san is moved to tears to see his family whole again. The world returns to its normal state, and the angels get on with their daily lives. Of course, the four angels take some time to readjust to the world of the living and catch up with the times. Fortunately, their siblings are all willing to help. Bangwoo recovers her voice. Tae-san finds his happiness again and goes back to helping humans. He even donates to a children's orphanage and takes the angels for a team dinner at Jeom-soon's new restaurant. Mer goes back to the cave where she used to meet O-Gwi. While there, she sees a dark spirit rise. It is unclear if the spirit possesses her. The scene cuts to Tae-san sensing an evil spirit outside his building. For whatever reason, the spirit destroys the offices on its way to O-Gwi's body in the basement. The series ends with O-Gwi's heart beating and his body slowly healing.